All right, everyone, we're going to continue with our post-race media availabilities. We're now joined by Cole Custer, the winner of the Dash for Cash. You have a nice big check over here. What's that $100,000 mean to you?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, winning $200,000 in the last 2 weeks is huge for our team. And it's a big accomplishment. We've been solid the last few weeks, and we've been starting to put it together. We want more. We want to go win, and I think we're capable of that. It's just a matter of having everything come together. So. But we'll enjoy this. It's awesome to have that bonus, and it's really cool that Xfinity does that and lets us race it out for $100,000. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Awesome. Congratulations. We'll go ahead and open up for questions. We'll start in the middle with Marty.
Marty Scala, Rock Sports Net Race Pro Weekly. Cole, congratulations. Positives of your race that you took away from today?
We're showing speed. We led some laps. Ran in the top 5. I feel like we were a top 5 car. We just tried to go long there at the end and gave up a little bit of track position, just trying to catch them on a yellow or something. But overall, it's been solid. We just need that a little bit more. So I think we're in the ballpark. We're really close. It's just a matter of fine tuning it.
Then obviously you've been there before. What do you think from your perspective on Ryan Truex getting his first ever win?
It's awesome. Ryan's a friend of mine, and he's been trying so hard for so long, and he's a really good race car driver, and he definitely deserves it. And this is his home track, I think, so that's pretty awesome for those guys and Martin and that whole family. So I'm definitely going to go congratulate him because he definitely earned that. They were really fast all day.
We will go to Bob and then to Zach.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. How do you spend – this is a really weird part of the schedule because you're off next week and then – Darlington and then off another week and then Charlotte. So is there things that you guys as a team plan to tweak as far as your cars and that kind of thing, or how do you approach the next 3 weeks with one race?
Yeah, we're going to try and figure out how to beat that guy over there. But we just try and get ahead on things. We try and get ahead 3 races or 5 races and try and get it just talking about the races and figuring out what's worked in the past, what hasn't, trying to get an idea of what we need just unloading, because you don't get much time to practice or dial things in, so you got to be dialed in when you get there. So I feel like we've done a solid job, and we're building on it. It's just a matter of it all coming together, because I know we have speed. I know we can run the top 5 and compete with anybody out there. It's just a matter of it all just having that little bit more.
We'll go to Zach.
Zach Cernio, NASCAR.com. Cole, congrats on the Dash for Cash win here. I'm curious just how significant that is for SHR, and was that, Shelton Creed was obviously trying to extend his fuel window and try to catch a caution there. Was that a concern for you guys at all? Were you aware that he was stretching it that long?
I didn't know he was stretching it that long until they told me he was pitting. But we tried to go long too, just because we weren't quite good enough to beat him. We needed a caution or to trap people a lap down to be able to win, so we try to go a little bit long. But at some point, you just give up so much track position. So, the 2 car, they were solid all day, and but and it's stressful. We were racing each other all day, so it was awesome to kind of come out with it. But you never know what's going to happen there in those last few laps.
Do we have any other questions? All right, Cole. Congratulations. Thank you. Good luck next week.
Thank you, guys.
We're going to go ahead and continue our media availabilities with the winner of the race, Ryan Truex.
Hello.
First win, home track.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It feels amazing. It's I feel like a huge 11-year weight lifted off my shoulders. So now finally people can stop asking me about 2012 here, now that I came back and led all the laps I did and won both stages and won the race. So really good car. That was the main thing, and just had to execute all day and made my job pretty easy.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We will go ahead and open up for questions. We have a bunch here, so we'll try to get to everyone. We'll start with Davey. We'll go to Marty, and then to Zach and Bob.
Hey, Ryan. Davey with SiriusXM. Congratulations.
Hey.
Are you the type of guy that when a race is going the way it is for you today, when the race is going
I was waiting for the caution.
Yes.
If that's your question.
Yes, it is.
I think I held my breath for 30 laps at the end. When I got out, I was completely out of breath because I was just like, all right, what's going to happen this time? What's going to be the flat tire or two guys, running into each other? What was going to happen to bring that late caution out? And, I knew we were in control of the race, and I knew we had a big lead, and I was just trying to manage the gap, really. And, I was definitely waiting for something to happen, and luckily it didn't.
I don't know if it was Jason or Stevie, but after the race on the cool down lap, they were kind of giving you a hard time saying you're awfully quiet in there. Were you doing
Yeah.
some self-reflection, emotional? What were the feelings in the car at that time?
Yeah, it was definitely emotional. I'm not a very, people that know me, I'm not an emotional guy, and it took me a minute before I could key up and say anything because I just couldn't talk. It's just been such a long road, and a lot of self-doubt along the way, and just wondering, is it ever going to happen? Am I good enough to do this? It's so easy to doubt yourself and be down on yourself, but you just keep digging, keep pushing through, and like I said, it was just a huge relief to get that. Honestly, the white flag. As soon as I got the white flag, I knew it was over, and I just was trying to get it back around, as smoothly as I could, and I was definitely choking up coming to the checkered for sure.
We'll go to Marty, then to Zach, then to Bob.
Marty Staccato, Rock Sports Net Race Pro Weekly. It seems like this runs in the family here, Ryan. Martin wins his first career Cup race at Dover. Now you win your first career Xfinity race at Dover. Just what does that mean as well when it comes to coincidence of this?
Yeah, it's cool. I didn't even think of that. It's really cool. And I think when he won that day, they dominated that race too, from what I remember. So it's cool to do it and make a statement like that. At one of the hardest tracks on the schedule. It's named the Monster for a reason. It's a tough track, and a lot of people struggle to figure it out. And I've had my moments of trying to figure out how to get around this place. And I have learned a lot from Martin for sure, and that's been a huge help. Obviously JGR's got great cars, and they're always good here. But I've had this one circled for a while, and it's pretty special of all the places to get it. It's where I gave it up 11 years ago with 6 to go or whatever it was, and felt like that was could have been a huge turning point in my career, and it's been a battle ever since. So to finally come back 11 years later with the same team and get it done is really rewarding for me.
Obviously, your father was very emotional on top of the pit box, and I guess in victory lane as well. What did he say to you when you finally saw each other?
He didn't really say much, honestly. I think he was still at a loss for words too. He's been around racing his whole life, and he's watched Martin and myself come up through the ranks, and been a huge part of our success. And it's definitely been, I think, frustrating for him as well, with how my career has been so up and down, and been so close, and you just couldn't quite get the job done. So he's definitely seen behind the scenes of how much I've battled and worked and struggled, and done everything that I've done to stay relevant in the sport and stay involved. And a lot of that resiliency and refusal to give up, I think, comes from him. I hope so. I need a new shirt now. I can finally do a win t-shirt.
We'll go to Zach and then to Bob.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. Ryan, first of all, congratulations. But I'm curious too, just how Martin has helped you through this process as well. I spoke to him in Victory Lane, and he talked about that journey and that struggle that you've put in the effort to behind the scenes to get to this point, to not only be able to get behind the wheel of this car, but to capitalize on the opportunity, get the win here. How meaningful is that part of it, and in what ways has Martin helped you over this journey?
I mean, he's helped me really my whole career. He was, when I started racing in 2006, he was already in Cup. So there was a lot I could learn from him. I came up through the ranks in totally different cars than he did, up until we got to the K&N East Series, which is now the ARCA East Series. And he was definitely very helpful when I got to that, kind of that transition to full-size cars. But he's not one to go out of his way and call me and be like, here's what you got to do this weekend. He's more of a, if I ask him, he's going to tell me. And if there's something he thinks I really need to know, he'll send me like a 4 or 5 word text. He's definitely an in-person kind of talker. He's not a texter at all, and he's definitely not a phone call guy. So usually I got to find him and ask, and depending on what it is, he'll text me. But what he's been through in his career back in 2013 when he was basically out of a ride, didn't know what was going to happen. To be obviously his biggest fan and watch him battle through that and come out the other side and be a champion, I think motivated me and inspired me to keep just keep digging, keep doing what I'm doing. Like I said, there's been a lot of really rough moments behind the scenes for me personally, just trying to battle through all of it, and the mental side of it, the emotions, the doubting yourself, all of that goes into it. You can't doubt yourself as a race car driver and go out and perform, and that's something I've worked hard at this past 2 years, and I feel like that's something that Joe Gibbs Racing and Jason Ratcliffe, Steve D'Souza, everybody at the Xfinity shop has given me the confidence, and they believe when I get in the car that we can win, and that's for me I feel like a huge part of it, and I feel like that's something that I've not quite had over the years. So to get with a group like this and have that confidence right off the bat has been huge for me and my confidence to be able to go out and just do my job. And days like today makes it feel easy.
You mentioned Jason, and I didn't realize it's already been since 2019 since he's been to victory lane in the series as well. To bring this whole 19 team to victory lane, knowing that there are other drivers behind the wheel of this car, and the challenges that can create. What does it mean to get this team to victory lane?
It's huge. I'm happy to get Jason back in victory lane. He was close a few times last year, and I feel like he had some taken away from him, and he definitely deserves it. His cars with multiple drivers last year have been really fast, and I think that just speaks to how good he is and how well he can adapt to working with guys of all experience levels and ages and driving styles. I really enjoy working with him. Just nice, calm, level-headed. If I get fired up, he keeps me calm, which is good. Definitely need that sometimes. Even at the end of the race, he was kind of just talking me through it. Take care of your tires. Driving away from him, just that nice southern twang and low voice works wonders. So it's cool, and yeah, I enjoy working with him, and getting to come back and work with him for a second year in a row, I feel like was huge for both of us to kind of hit the ground running, and I think we showed that in Phoenix, and I think we both had this one circled on our calendar for sure.
Thank you.
We're gonna go to the back to Bob, and then over here to Dustin, Mark, and then Steven.
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. Ryan, you do a lot of the Joe Gibbs sim sessions, correct?
Yes.
So what's it when in all this time that you spend in the sim every week? Does it add to your confidence, or does it add to your frustration knowing that you're doing sim and yet maybe on a lot of those weekends you're not racing?
No, honestly, I enjoy it. I feel like it's something that keeps me kind of in the mix behind the scenes. I always like to be helping work towards a goal. So if I can help the race team work towards being better, and I can give them, any kind of feedback or anything that's helpful and helps move the needle, that makes me feel like I have worth, and my talents and skills are worth something and being put to good use. So I enjoy it. I feel like it's made me a better driver, having to run so many laps every week and having to look at data and really understand what driver inputs and what a guy behind the wheel can do differently behind the or in the car. I get to look at a lot of data of a lot of different drivers and compare driving styles, and I feel like I've just learned so much in that area that I've been able to apply, even when it comes to how I study for the race weekend and I look over SMT data and race tape and all that stuff. I feel like there's so much more that sticks out to me now that I've learned from all my time in the simulator.
We're going to go to Dustin, then Mark, then Steven.
Dustin Albino, J-Ski. Ryan, in our conversation this morning, I asked you, what do you think this does for you if you win one of the final two starts this year? Now that you've accomplished that, what are you thinking?
I'm not sure yet. Obviously, I've said many times my goal is to stay with Joe Gibbs Racing and go full-time Xfinity racing. And I talked to Coach on the phone after the race, and I said, we got to figure out how to make this happen, and he agreed. So I think that's the next step, is figuring out how we can do that. And I feel like if I can drive one of these cars every week and be on the track every week with this team and this group, I feel like we can win a lot of races and definitely compete for a championship.
We'll go to Mark, then Steven, then Zach in the back.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Ryan, first, congratulations. It was awesome to watch you from way up high just go through the middle of the corners like nobody else all day long. Wasn't even close. Is this the way you dreamed of winning your first race? You have two ways maybe of doing it, right? You have the last lap out of turn 4 pass, and then you have completely smash the field into the ground. Is this the way you dreamed the first win would come?
I don't know. I mean, I've dreamed a lot over the years of wins, and I feel like before every race, I daydream about, all right, this is going to be the one, and I, think about how I'm going to come across the line, do burnouts, jump out of the car, all this stuff, and it's never happened. And, I've had to kind of throttle back on that and, be realistic with myself, and almost to the point where I've been pretty, pessimistic about everything. And even in the race today, like I said earlier, just even when I took the lead on lap 20, I'm like, all right, what's going to happen? What's going to ruin my race? What's going to put me a lap down? Where am I going to get a flat tire or have something break or blow up? Whatever it is, I feel like I'm always waiting for that to happen. And yeah, I think leading not every lap, leading a lot of laps and winning both stages feels a lot better than just pulling it out off the last corner. It shows that I can put a whole race together.
We'll go to Steven, then Zach.
Steven Stump, frontstretch.com. Ryan, congrats on the win. Obviously, a long time coming. You had also mentioned about kind of thinking about what things could go wrong when it was kind of counting down those laps, long green flag run, huge lead. Obviously, there's also the questions of the cars trying to make it on fuel at the end. What was going through your mind as those laps ticked down?
Well, that long run there, the first 50 laps, I was trying to take care of my tires, and I was just waiting. I was having radio problems. I couldn't hear them very well, and I was waiting for them to tell me to pit, and I was nervous that I wasn't going to be able to understand them and miss pit road. So that was my first worry. And, we pitted. I felt like I gave up a little bit of time getting to pit road, just trying to be cautious. It's so easy to miss pit road here. I haven't raced here since 2018, so I didn't really have a good idea of where I needed to start slowing down. So that was my next worry, if I was going to miss pit road. We made that. Then I was, trying to make sure I didn't speed, but optimize my speed on pit road. And then, leaving pit road, it was just a matter of hoping a caution didn't come out. And, luckily it didn't happen.
And then my second question is, one of your runner-up finishes was back in 2012, leading late, then the lap car, then Logano got by. Granted, it's been a long time, but if you're going to win your first race, did you kind of picture it being at Dover?
I mean, I picture it, like I said, I picture it whatever week I'm going into, I'm like, this is going to be the one. And I felt like Phoenix was going to be a really good shot at it after practice and how good we were.
Okay.
And it was close.
Yeah.
Just ran out of time. But, I've always felt like if I could go back to Dover and, redeem myself for that race all those years ago, that it'd be pretty special for sure.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
We will go to Zach.
Zach at Tanzretti, kicking-the-tires.net. You mentioned your dad, who was pretty quiet but emotional. Martin seemed a bit more, your brother seemed a lot more kind of animated. He ran up to the car.
He was fired up.
Yeah, what was he saying to you? What were those emotions from him?
He was just, he said good job, and, well, he used a lot more colorful language than that, but he basically said good job, and he was proud of me, and, way to get it done. It was funny to see him run out on pit road when I was looking for victory lane and waving his arms around and all that, because he's not usually very animated like that. But he was fired up, so it was really cool to see.
Are people going to stop calling you Ryan Truex Jr. after this?
I don't care. They can do whatever they want. I'm fine with it.
Are there any final questions for Ryan? All right. Congratulations.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.